All right, guys, so here we are. I know you guys have been asking for my 2 cents, so I'll give my 2 cents. And most of what I'm going to say here, you'll probably hear me say as well later tonight. If you're listening to this video today, it is June the 17th, Thursday. So later tonight on the Sim Standard podcast, myself and Smitty, I'm sure will dive into more details. But just to keep this very brief and to keep this very short, listen, man. You got to give credit where credit is due. What am I talking about? Some of you guys may ask. Well, what have I been talking about for the last few months? I've been saying, at the very least, EA and the Madden team and those who govern Madden, talking about the higher ups, they have to hold true to what they promised last year, saying that they would address certain things. And there's certain, areas of franchise mode that were neglected, which we all know, the whole Fix Madden franchise series. I say series because that hashtag started a whirlwind, right? And I said they needed to deliver on those things. And from what we're currently seeing, or reading rather, sounds like they have delivered. Now, in terms of scouting, it looks like the scouting overhaul will appear in the game in September. So it looks like, they're targeting September, the first update. And they also are already saying in the Gridiron notes that there'll be, live updates for franchise throughout the year, similar to what they did last year. But what we already know about franchise, we already know about, the coaching. There's assistant coaches. And, I read somewhere that there's a total of 4 coaches. So we'll have to see, who the 4th coach is. Of course, it would have to include the head coach. But we'll have to see who that 4th personnel person is, as far as who is it. We know there's offensive and defensive coordinators, head coach, and there was made mention of another coach. All right, so we know that there's going to be a skill tree situation, similar to what we saw in NCAA. We've now learned as well that there's, options to determine or decide how you would want your players, to practice and the intensity and whether they will be wearing pads or not. Okay, that's a good thing. We're also, they made some reference or some mention of player health. So that makes me feel as if, throughout the year or throughout the season, the players can fatigue. That's very interesting. Again, if you look at some of the in-game or, the screenshots that are from the trailer, you can glean some of that information by looking at those shots of health and coaching skill trees and things of that nature. So, listen, I will give them credit for that. I will give them credit for doing what was promised. It's long overdue, and I definitely hope that they continue to go in that direction. And let me also say that all of this right now is TBD. It's to be determined. We still have to wait and see, how everything unfolds. We have to wait and see how everything unfolds. We can't just get overjoyed at the moment. We have to see how everything unfolds. We have to see how the game plays out, how the gameplay plays out, et cetera, et cetera. And, I'm not going to try to break down the trailer and all of that. We know a beta is coming. A beta is coming very soon. So we'll all get our opportunity to at least, get your hands on the game. But I did find this interesting as far as what they outlined in the Gridiron notes as far as the playtest. There was a lot of things that they're saying that's currently not functional or not working properly in the beta. And I find that interesting because they're either doing that to let you know that these things are being worked on or that they've already been addressed. I don't know. Yet they still ask for feedback. So I will say that is a bit interesting. So it's definitely going to come down to how the game launches. How is the game playing at that point? But a few things I definitely want to point out, man, as far as what they mentioned about gameplay, this whole dynamic game day situation. It says here, for the first time ever, you can experience dynamic game day, a new feature that will impact gameplay across every mode in this year's game, making the thrills unpredictably of the NFL come to life. Okay, making the thrills and unpredictability of the NFL come to life. It says next-gen stats, star-driven AI, and game day atmosphere, which we'll dive into below, but it says it makes up dynamic game day. Combining the power of the next-gen technology, real-world player data, and enhanced AI helps deliver the most emotionally driven and interactive gameplay yet. Okay, that's saying a lot. Now, what does it say here about next-gen stats and star-driven AI and game day atmosphere? It says every team and every player you know and love will be more true to life with next-gen stats, star-driven AI. It's going to change the AI behavior and team tendencies based on real-world data over the course of the NFL season. With redesigned, act like I can't read here. With redesigned next-gen player movement 2.0, players will blitz, scramble, and break tackles during gameplay based on their real-world next-gen stats data. Okay, let's read that again. With redesigned next-gen player movement 2.0, players will blitz, scramble, and break tackles during gameplay based on their real-world next-gen stats data. Interesting. Game day atmosphere is also bringing real NFL game scenarios to NFL Madden 22. You'll experience the impact of spontaneous moments that can change the outcome of a game in a split second, all based on a unique atmosphere or unique atmospheres and environments of the stadium. With each stadium housing a unique home field advantage game modifier. Whoa. Home field advantage game modifier. Sounds a little like NCAA. You'll be able to shift momentum in or out of your favor during high-stakes moments. You'll also see all new crowd animations, on-field reactions, and celebrations that bring the real-world emotion of the game to life. Okay. Those are a couple areas right there that I'm interested in seeing how that all plays out. And of course, they also mention, that there's, you read the article on Operation Sports and some of the other outfits. They talk about how there's more momentum and things of that nature being worked out and, playing out as far as gameplay. And I'm very interested and curious to see what else they're doing in the gameplay space. Because you guys know, my biggest thing is the way players interact, player movement, interactions in terms of one-to-one interactions and two-man situations. So we still have to see how all of that unfolds. And like I said, for you guys that will have the opportunity to play the beta, we'll at least get a glimpse of what that means and what's that supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, man, I like what they're doing so far. It reads good on paper. It is definitely good to see that they stuck with that commitment, and it shows good faith that they stuck to what they said they were going to do in terms of, franchise and the updates. So I'm very curious to see how all of this stuff unfolds, and definitely curious to see what some of these, overhauls look like the overhauled game planning and preparation, and definitely scouting whenever we get an opportunity to see scouting. And I did see as well, man, if I click around here on the computer, I did see that there is a breakdown. They have a breakdown here as far as when we should be able to expect more information. I'll post it here on the screen as well. The schedule, franchise, they're going to be talking about that on June 21st. They'll go into Dynamic Game Day on June 28th. Face of the Franchise on July 5th for you guys who are into that. Superstar, KO, and the Yard, not really my thing. Then there's an EA Play Spotlight, and the scouting will be revealed. So scouting will be revealed then. So can't wait to see what that's all about. But like I said, man, I have to give a little bit of credit in terms of them sticking to what they said they were going to do. And now we just have to wait and see exactly how this game unfolds and what all the details will be. But that's just my quick thoughts. And like I said, man, listen, tonight me and Smitty will dive all the way into this. So make sure you come kick it with us at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the Sim Standard Podcast. But outside of that, guys, that's all I got for this particular video. If you haven't already, make sure you cut on that notification. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that, as well as hit that like button. All right, guys, catch you in the next one. Peace.